Welcome back to this latest episode of Japan's Top Business Interviews. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training, Tokyo, Japan. My special guest today is an old friend of mine and fellow martial artist who I greatly respect. We have Jerome Chouchan of Godiva, who is the president in Japan. Jerome, welcome. Thank you very much. You've got a long history in Japan. You've been here many years. And I was reading in the foyer, you've got yourself in the Caesar sitting position and you've got your story there. But let's pick it up from when you came to Japan to work and, you had that interest in Japan, you travel around the world, you mentioned, and you got here. And then you started to work in Japan. How did you get to work in Japan? How did it happen that you were able to now running Godiva here in Japan?
Yes, so the first time I worked in Japan, I was very young, which is 25 years old, which...
That's the age I came to Japan, same age, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And at that time, it was, I would say, an opportunity because being French, you could, instead of doing your military service, you could do the system that they call working for a private company and helping exports. And then, so you had company who were looking from freshly graduate students and send them all over the world. So I pick up one opportunity to go to Japan because I was interested about the country. And then I started here. And at that time, it was in the jewelry business. And it was really, there was just a small office, a kind of startup thing, which was for me a really adventure because completely new country, do not speak the language, and do not have any team to help me or to guide me. So we had one consultant where I could access.
So did you open the office in Japan?
Yes.
Oh,
and at that time...
They sent a 25-year-old guy to Japan, not from the jewelry business, to open up in Japan. That's unbelievable. Must have been amazing.
Yes, it was really exciting. And I was, on my own. And this consultant, where I could tap some advice. And then I visited customer. And I was, of course, the main role was looking at the strategy and connecting between the Japanese customers and the head office. But that was, amazing. And the biggest challenge was... at that time, as you may know, Craig, if you are 25 years old, people said, "What are you doing here?" They respect age much that you don't look to have enough credential when you just arrive. But I found out that, and this is still true 30 years later, that if you show honesty or your best efforts, then people finally recognize you, and that's how I could go along. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. What was the name of that company you were working for?
The name was Mellerio, which is a high jewelry company, which was in Lacoste Street in France. So very expensive jewelry. Wow. And at that time, our target was department store, shops.
Were they distributing already in Japan? And then you
No, that was the start.
Very start.
So we negotiated contract.
Oh, wow.
So I visited the...
That's incredible. That is absolutely amazing. How long did you do that for?
I did this quite a number of years, and because this first phase of my career, I really enjoy to be on my own and this kind of growing business and startup. And at that time, I put a system when I was dealing with this company and also another one, which was the French Mint, where we were selling coins to Japanese bank. And so I would call it my kind of startup phase where I introduced this business to Japan, which was not there at all at the beginning. And after that, I wanted to go to more established businesses, and I went to Lacoste, the apparel brand.
So how do you talk your way into Lacoste? You're the jewelry guy. Lacoste is a fashion business, a clothing business. So how did you manage to convince Lacoste that I can do this as well?
The thread is retail,
right?
brand,
yeah.
with history, authenticity, French also, that was a link. So it was not a difficult case to sell. Because
and for the first company, how big did it grow when you were there?
Quickly we could establish 20 shop-in-shops, so it became quickly the first market.
Wow, quite quick. And how many people were working in the company?
Oh, it was a small-size company, less than 100 people worldwide. So it was a small.
But in Japan, how many?
In Japan, I told you, I was alone with a.
You're running 20 shop-in-shops
through partners. You know?
Oh, with partners. Okay,
yes.
right. Like Superman. So Lacoste.
Yes, Lacoste, and then after that, moved to Hennessy. But for Hennessy, I went back to France. But interestingly,
with Lacoste was, were you the head of Lacoste?
Yes, but this was again, I would say it was an extension of my first business in the jewelry, was a kind of a coordinating office. So we were 2-3 people managing the license business, a lot of license at that time, managing from footwear to apparel to perfumes and connecting the licensee. And after that, I had my time, I would say, with this kind of coordinating businesses. And I wanted to go in something more structured. And I had an offer to work for Hennessy, the Cognac of LVMH Group.
Famous brand, another famous brand.
Yes. And this time I was in charge of the Japan business unit, which was the second market in the world. But I was based in Paris and moving from France to Japan every 3 months, but reporting to the worldwide CEO at that time.
Right, so you're flying back and forth.
Yes.
How many years are you doing that for?
The Hennessy business for 4 years.
4 years, and then after that? And by the way, the kyudo, the study of archery, had that already started on the first trip when you were 25, or did you pick that up?
It started at 29.
29, so this is during your Lacoste
no, it was again this...
Just at the end of the first one?
Yes.
Okay, right, okay. Because it's now, 30 plus years, I think, you mentioned in the thing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
This year is my 50th year of karate training, so like you, similar, long term. So we get to Hennessy, and then how do you get back to Japan?
Yes, so I was in Hennessy and in charge of Japan and moving back and forth. And then at some point, I wanted to be a more stable position. So I had an offer to manage for the first time, I would say, a full integrated P&L company, which was for a Spanish brand, which was Lladro.
Lladro,
which do figurines.
Famous.
Yes.
There's the figurines, the porcelain, that's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. And at that time, it was a joint venture between a big trading company, Mitsui Bussan, and the Spanish Lladro.
Oh, okay.
So both parties had to agree to who would be the CEO. And so they met many candidates, but luckily enough, the Japanese like me. And then
Mitsui Bussan liked you.
Yes, and then so finally I got this job, and then that was my, I would say, first experience in a full integrated P&L business. We changed a lot because before was more coordinating, different partnership,
was it also
distributorship.
A similar small number of people in Japan? And
we were, I would say, 70 people in Japan.
70? Well, that's quite large. So your first real leadership task in Japan is leading Lladro, right?
Exactly.
And so 70 people is not a small number.
Yes.
So what were some of the challenges of leading 70 people in Japan?
Yes, so, and as you know, leadership is a journey. So the challenge I had at Lladro and the challenge I have now are not the same. But at that time, I was managing typical Japanese, some coming from Mitsui Bussan, some been there with Lladro for a time. Most of them much older than me. Which
in Japan, with that hierarchy of age and when you join the company, must have been quite difficult. You're the young guy, they've been here their whole life. What do you know about this business that we don't know? How did you go around getting by that?
Yes.
How did you get people to accept you and follow you?
So this was a retail business, so I went very quickly on the ground.
Okay.
So as we say in Japanese, gemba.
At the gemba, at the location.
And then this immediately I could get the buy-in of the team around me because they were seeing that I was doing the thing they were doing day in and day out. I was not.
You're going to the customers.
Yes. I go with them to the customer. We had big exhibition in the porcelain with Metsukoshi, Takashimaya, big department store. And sometimes of the big exhibition, I was there myself even selling pieces.
Oh, in the exhibition.
Yes.
Right.
So, and this was a real trigger because people said, oh, he's helping us to sell. He's selling pieces himself.
Wow, yeah.
So this gained immediate
and
trust.
by this time, your Japanese must have been pretty good by that time too, to be able to sell to consumers.
Yes.
That's a big deal, right?
Yes.
And I think you remember telling me at a previous conversation that you had a very radical idea for a type of figurine they could do in Japan when you visited a department store and you saw look at this, a Japanese samurai type of thing for Kids' Day, that type of thing. And you had that idea to do something quite new, which hadn't been done before. So talk a little bit about that, because it's one thing to have an idea, that's good, but it's quite another thing to convince the company to make it. It's another thing to convince the Japanese in the business that it's a good idea and we should do it. So that was an innovative idea on your part. Talk a little bit about what it was and how you got the buy-in from the home side and also from the local team.
Yes. So first of all, the Lladro business is in figurines. And who buy figurines? Who wake up in the morning and say, I want to buy a figurines? Not many people. So, and I was also looking who are competitors. I could not see any brand who were competing. So that was very stressful, because if you work in cars, you have many car manufacturers. If you were in chocolate, you have many. In pizza, you have many. But in figurines, we were pretty unique. And then I start to look in Japanese culture. Do they have figurines? Something that you put on your house or your display? Do they have something like that? And I find out that they have it. And it's called the Festival of the Girls, Hinamatsuri, or the Samurai, for the Gogatsu Ningyo, for the boys' day in May. And then this was figurines. The boys were a kind of either helmet or people in armor, or the girls in kimono. And this was mainly made in tissue.
Right.
And I said, but these are exactly the same business we are in. A nice things to celebrate a happy occasion and to display on your house, and it should be of good quality. Then I thought, why not make it in porcelain? Because Lladro has some sculpture, some artists, they could do any type of pieces. Then I brought this idea to the headquarters, and they were, I would say, open, and they said, okay, how many could you sell?
So just to wind back a bit, did you talk to your team about this idea first, and then you went to see the headquarters, or you thought, I'll go to headquarters and sell it to the team if I get permission? Which way did you think to go?
No, first was with the team, yes.
Okay,
yes.
And how was their reaction? Because, they're Japanese. They've grown up here. They've either had Hinamatsuri, the girls' day, or the boys' day. They've had those, typical, figurines in the Japanese style. So it's sort of like a set piece for them. How was their reaction to that idea?
At that time, I would say the Lladro Japan company was a very traditional. It was 20 years ago, maybe. So 15 years ago. Then the president say something, the team say, oh, yes, it's a good idea.
Well, that's handy. That's very good. That can
so
be a bit of a worry, though.
So much pushback because at the beginning I didn't put a target on big number on that. So it was okay. And Lladro was well known for doing many different type of figurines. But the most difficult was the department store buyers who said, this festival of boys and girls are typical Japanese occasion. Why a Spanish brand who would do that would interest consumers? It's like if a Spanish do sushi, we will not be interested so much. So they struggle with that. They said, we want something from Europe, we want something, team which are Western culture, why you want to do something Japanese? And so the buyer were the more
most conservative.
Conservative. But our business model was on consignments, means we have our product, we put on our store so we can decide what we want to have. So we said, okay, anyway, let's test it. And it worked very well with the consumer.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've seen those. In fact, I've got them in my house for my son, Boys' Day. I've got the whole routine there, the whole armour and the figurines. And, they're very well made. They're very beautifully done. And your product is extremely well made at that time too, Lladro. So
yes.
I can see it'd be acceptable.
And the consumer, they like the convenience of it, because if it is on textile, the traditional Japanese, then it becomes dirty, difficult to maintain, and this one fit very well with a modern lifestyle. So this is a big learning. That was a big learning for me in this market, is that the consumer is much more in advance than even the trade.
Right.
So you have to find a way to go directly to the consumer and get insight for the consumer. So for me, you mentioned about leadership. It's one of my way is to try to find hints from the consumer themselves, because that's where come innovation.
And also, you said you went to the Gemba, you went to see the clients, you looked in the department store, you saw what was going on with your own eyes, as opposed to sitting on the top of the structure and having people filter stuff up to you. You're actually making your own judgment, getting your own stimulation. All these guys have been working for the company for how many years? None of them thought, wouldn't it be a great idea if we did something traditional Japanese for Boys' Day, Girls' Day, with our technology and our artisan skills? But you came up with that idea. How many years you were there at Lladro?
I was there 5 years, I think.
And then what happens after that?
Then after that, I was interested in finding a product which could sell to more categories of people and more categories of occasions. Right. Because Lladro was very good product, but mainly one-channel department stores. Yeah. And price is rather high, because the average price could be 50,000 yen or more.
Or more,
Yeah. So then I got this offer from Godiva, which was 11 years ago. Right. So I've been in Godiva for...
you've been with 11 years.
Yes.
Wow. Gee, that's flown by.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was very interested at the beginning by the and now it's the same, the potential of that you can reach anyone, any age, and any channel.
So again, your theme is brand, luxury, but Godiva is at that upper end, right? It's in that luxury brand, I guess, in the chocolate area. Would you say?
I don't call it luxury per se. I call it brand, which has an authentic story, a strong DNA.
Differentiated then.
Yes, with a real story and real craftsmanship behind. Yes, yes.
So you come in to Godiva, you've been in different businesses, people going, what does this guy know about the food business?
Yes.
How do you build trust and following when you don't have a background in the food business, which is quite different to the other businesses you've been in? So how did you go about getting people to trust you? Interestingly,
when I took this job, I went to see the department store, the general manager of each chain, and I told them, now I'm going to work for Godiva. And they said, some of them told me, why are you working, what are you going to do there? It's already a very established brand, it's already everywhere. What could be done more? That was their comment.
Wow, that's interesting.
But in fact, luckily, we tripled the business in 7 years, so there was a lot of
things to do. And you wrote a book about that, very good book, by the way, called Target. If listeners of this podcast, viewers of the video, get Jerome Chouchan's book on business called Target. I have the book, signed copy, of course. Excellent book on doing business and taking the ideas from kyudo, traditional Japanese martial art, and combining it with business. It's a very insightful book, so I recommend that book to everyone. So,
thank you very much.
You talk to the department store people, they can't understand it. How about the people in the company? How did they perceive you?
So when I arrived, I was already known in the market for what I've done in Lladro, especially the innovative things, because on this boys festival, dolls and girls, not only it was a breakthrough on product, but also for the first time I did TV advertising.
Ooh, TV advertising.
Yes,
okay.
and at that time you didn't have any luxury brand on TV because the concept was TVs for mass product, and you will not do TV for a company which has.
So why did you think to do TV? Because TV in Japan is not cheap, and it's quite a big deal. You got to get the whole production is expensive, the broadcast is expensive. That's a lot of chunk of your marketing budget. Why did you think TV? Normally it'd be magazines, I would have imagined, no?
Yes, exactly. First of all, because to really reach the theme of boys and girls festival is for every Japanese family.
Yes.
So that was a very powerful theme.
Yes.
So I think we could, even if we have only at that time 40 stores, we could reach. It was not the problem of reach. The problem was all consumers are receptive to the topic. So that was one thing.
They just didn't know about it.
Yes. And second thing, I find ways. People had in the image that TV is very expensive. But when I deep dive into that, I found way that there was way, both in production and channel selection, to really have it in a budget that can make sense. And so that was, we make our simulation. This was not the first year. First year, we had a newspaper ad, full page. Tremendous response. Then the same department store who said this would never sell, they're calling us, why you don't have enough stock? Our customer cannot be delivered. Why produce more? So you see,
that's a problem, right?
So that was the same. We were selling. Who would buy that? Then after that, we think, okay, we have a lot of momentum there. Let's try TV. Yes.
So we're coming back to Godiva, and they realise you've been creative in your previous work, so you've come with some credibility because it's a similar department store is also one of the locations for sales, I guess. So how did you get the team engaged? You had let's talk about your very, very insightful and a very innovative idea in running a full page, full colour, actually double page, in the Nikkei newspaper, most prestigious financial newspaper, full 2 pages colour on the Godiva Choco, the obligatory chocolate gift you have to give to your boss at a certain time of the year. We'll talk about that in a minute, but that comes a little bit later. But take us through how you started to get your team involved and how you started to develop ideas. And that particular idea, which was, I told you, I'd salute you on that idea. I thought that was absolute genius. But let's get to that.
Yes.
How did you get the team behind you?
When I arrived, the business was at a plateau. Flat. And they had at that time a lot of pressure from the head office saying you're not innovative enough, you're not good enough. So there was this kind of pressure from the headquarters. So when and they were looking for someone, and they had one leader which was stay not so long, and then it was an interim position. So there was a need of someone as a leader, stable. So when I arrived, I had, I would say, good circumstances that they say, okay, now we have someone, he knows Japan, so that will ease the pressure they had from the headquarters, because at that time the headquarters started to contact directly every leader of sales or marketing and so on. So there was this I would say, first I know Japan, first I speak the language. Third, I was in the gifting business, even if it was not food. So all this helped to get engagement. And after that, same as I told you, I went with them to see the stores, which it's always a big plus because they see that you respect the heart of the business. And then at the beginning, I started to do a few things that which were not done before.
Like what?
Like again, I look at the marketing budget, and which was dispersed in many places. Mm-hmm. I put it onto one bet, which I put again on TV. Same. Godiva was 10 times bigger than Lladro, at that time, or 20 times bigger in size. But the marketing director could not even think that TV could be an option, because in his mind it's so expensive that it could not be done. Yep. And he was putting some money on newspaper, some money on magazine, some money on press conference, some money on direct marketing and so on. I put, how much we have there? I put it, and let's bet on the TV. And you know what? People say, Godiva, but they have forgotten it.
Right.
They see it on TV. It looks like new to them.
Right.
And it's tremendous effect. So the what I had in Lladro was multiplied by 25 because the network, the store, the brand awareness. So this worked well immediately. Then
but for your team,
it was a complete innovation. They didn't think it was even possible.
As you said yourself, you put your bet on red or black or something in the roulette wheel, right?
Yes, exactly.
So for them, they're thinking, "Oh my God, we've dispersed the risk with our marketing budget by having many touch points, and here's the new boss. He's putting everything on red on the roulette wheel." That must have been very contentious within the organization.
Yes. First of all, it was, is it possible? Yes, look at the number. It's not. I'm not asking to have a few $1 million more of budget to the headquarters. Oh, really? And when will you want to do it? In Valentine, our biggest season. Oh, but that makes sense. Rather than,
Yeah.
And so, and there was no risk because we will not spend less in a full year. So I will not increase the amount of marketing.
So what was the return on the investment there? You don't have to tell me the actual numbers. Just give me a percentage. But if you were getting so much up to the point of this program, and then you look at your sales after that, what was the factor of growth?
We had an uplift on growth immediately around 20%.
Wow, that's big.
Which was very, very fantastic at that time because the company was on the plateau.
And how long is this between when you arrive and you actually do that? What's the time frame?
Yeah, I arrived in June.
Yep.
I had to work on the next year budget. And then in September, October, I proposed this to the team and to the headquarters. And then I did another breakthrough, which was this time even, I would say, more provocative, is that I said, we will sell our ice cream to convenience store. Sorry,
just wind that back. When you come in. What month is Valentine's Day again? I can't
February.
Remember. February. So the following February that you join.
Yes.
The next year in February, you put all your bet on red.
Yes.
Boom, it comes up. So is that like a factor of? You said 20% growth straight away. That must have given you tremendous credibility within the organization. That people go, wow, this guy.
Yes.
He's really got an idea here that's working well. We're doing well.
Yes.
And we feel good about ourselves. We're on TV as well. We feel our family's impressed that we're on TV, right? Because that's how Japanese families really identify with their work, don't they?
Yes, but you have always challenge. For example, I remember when we did the TV spot, I was betting high, as you said.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make it successful. And I wanted to make it relevant for Japan. And I have some people in the headquarters at that time in New York who wanted to have many, and why you don't put this, and why you don't put that, and why you don't say this. And then, so I was, literally risking my job on this.
You put your own.
And they are giving a lot of comment, which from US could make sense, but not from. So you have always. It's not an easy ride, you know. You could say, no, but a lot of in the execution to make it happen, a lot of things. And even people said, yeah, but are you sure? Luxury brand on TV, again, the same story, you know? And but finally, yes, when it worked.
And big success.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the next one is the ice cream.
Yes, so the ice cream was even before that.
Oh, okay.
Because the ice cream, I put it in December on the first year I arrived. So I arrived in June. I put the next year budget and strategy with this advertising proposal in October, budget review. And for the year where I joined, I said, why not sell ice creams in December in the convenience store? Then on this one, I had a huge pushback, I would say, from the company in Japan, from the staff, who was saying, Godiva, we are a luxury brand. How we could be in convenience store? So nearly nobody could get it. And then I have to show them the fact that people get 90% of the ice cream you buy, in fact, is in convenience store. You don't go to department store to buy ice cream. And
go where the people are.
Yes.
Fish where the fish are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and second, we are not putting our gold balloting box or truff box or chocolate box in the convenience store. We are putting our ice cream, which is not our core business. And then I also had to convince the headquarters, who was wondering about positioning and so on. But for me, it was a no-brainer because, first of all, we were the higher price point ice cream, even higher than Haagen-Dazs. Second, this was at the moment of Christmas, so where people enjoy premium ice cream. And third, it's not, as I said, not our core business. And this create awareness, create accessibility, and in food, which sometimes people have difficulty to understand, especially at our segment. It's premium, but it's something you eat.
Yeah.
So it's not something you show.
No.
So if you have a good ice cream, no matter where you sell it, you bring it home, you eat it, and you feel, oh, that's delicious. Your premiumness is okay. It's not, if you're selling bags, you want it in a nice boutique, you will not sell bag in different type of channel.
No.
But food is, okay, the channel, some people may have a perception, but at the end you eat it, and what do you feel when you eat it? And we were very confident that the recipe, the chocolate, the smoothness of the ice cream was great. So we pushed the button. But this was also, I would say, out of the box, yes.
Right. And what was the result?
Very good.
Very good. So again, you've only been there 2 minutes. You hit a home run with the ice cream. 2 minutes later, boom, TV advertising.
Yes.
Boom. So by this time, people are looking at you like you're the wonder boy here, doing a great job. Talk about the Valentine's Day and the Godiva Choco advertising. Was that in the next year, or was that a couple of years later?
No, this was, I think, in 2017.
Okay. So you're quite a way into your stage.
Yes, because I joined Godiva in 2011.
Okay, right.
And, there is one thing, it's difficult to get a success, right?
Yeah.
But it's even more difficult to continue.
Yes. Don't tell me what you did for me last month. What are you doing for me this month, right?
Exactly.
Type of problem, yeah?
Exactly, because in the past, nobody, Jerome, your Valentine campaign, it's so amazing last year.
Yeah.
It's finished. It's gone. It's dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's like a soccer player.
Yeah.
You strike goals, but you had a bad match, and then people don't remember that you strike 3 goals in a row 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So that's as you said, the beginning of when you stay long in a company, at the beginning you have to establish yourself.
Yep.
For me, that was the way to create some quick win. We work well and create engagement. But after that, you have to continue to grow the business and not repeat what you have done in the past.
Yeah. If you want to be successful as a leader, do the Leadership Training for Managers course. All companies need people who can both manage and lead. Leading people screams out for real skills in communication, dealing with all different types of people, being excellent at innovation, planning, delegation, handling mistakes, doing performance reviews really well, and inspiring and motivating the team. Do the Leadership Training for Managers course now in either Japanese or English. Like for example, is the entire brain of the company sitting right across from me now? And what about all the other brains out there? What are they doing? You seem to be doing all the work here. What are they doing? Aren't they getting inspired, feel some freedom to think themselves, come up with ideas? Because again, you're the president, you can make things happen. But if it's only relying on the president all the time, what is everyone else doing?
Yes.
How do you get the troops to come up with their own view on ideas and innovations? What do you do about that?
That's a very good question, and in fact, it has been what's keeping me at night the last few years, even, because how you get that, and there is no easy answer. I remember one mentor who told me that in Japan, innovation has to come from the CEO. I was telling him exactly that. Now I would like things to come from here and there, and he tell me, no, look, you have Uniqlo, you have this company, you have. He quote me a lot of a Japanese company where they innovate. The CEO is the driving force, and he has to get his hands dirty on innovation.
But that's usually the founder. I mean, the family owns Uniqlo, you've got that difference between a corporate and a family business or a founder business. That's not the same.
Yes, but the truth behind that, what he was saying, and that person had worked with many top blue chips in Japan, and he found out that really to be innovative, if you don't have a driving force from really the top, it's quite tough. Founder or not founder. And then his message to me was, Jerome, don't think you would create an ecosystem and just relax and be waiting. You will have to get your hands dirty in innovation always.
Continuously.
So that was his message. But I'm still working on this, how to do it, as you said. And I found one way.
Okay.
And what it is that you cannot ask the impossible to people who are not innovator by themselves. And you have different type of people. And of course, you have more people which are good in execution than some who are good in bringing completely new ideas. But what I found out is that when I have a core business, which is all your business, 90% or 95% of your business, and you ask the people who make the machine run, be innovative, you're just talking in the air, because these people, they have to deliver our collection of gold box, our collection of Valentine, our collection, and it's coming, it's around the clock. How many SKU, how many boxes, how many price points? It's a huge machine. So, and these people are super busy. And if I ask them to think differently, they even cannot take the time to do it, because they have to deliver all
so they're tied up in the process.
Yeah, and the expected delivery that we, because when the market is mature, so you have to find some extra mile or extra growth, but you cannot forget your base. So even on our base, people are so already busy to let's say a new collection of drinks, a new collection of chocolate. This will be the collection of this year, collection of next year. It's not innovative, it's just sustaining innovation, so to speak. And then what I found out is I create what I call a transformation unit with different team, completely different. And I will give you an example. Now I'm on a project where I create new products every month. I was asking for...
Every month?
Yes. I was asking for 3 years to the team to make new products quicker. The marketing, the core team. Was never possible because many reasons, minimum lot, space in the stores, suppliers, many good reasons. Then I had someone coming from internet background, no product development background at all.
From what background, sorry?
Internet.
Oh, internet background.
So,
okay.
So, but very interested in businesses, in growing, selling, transact, but very doer type, but not marketing type at all. Oh. And I was talking with him and he said, oh, yeah, I'm interested into that. And that's exciting. And yeah, you could do it. And they'd say, yeah, why not? Then, okay, I give it to him. I give him 2 people at the beginning, task force, and then 2 full-time people. And he find the suppliers who can make small lot. Mm. He create the product, which I would say, he doesn't make the whole process with the whole consumer test and all. It's a completely different business model because if we don't have enough stock, it's sold out. If it's sold out, it creates buzz and so on. But now he's creating a new product every month. Wow. And I found the learning here is you have also to create the structure that enable the innovation or the transformations. Mm. And you cannot ask the people who are busy in delivering the day-to-day to innovate. So I took risk because one trap that I avoided at the beginning, there was somebody from our core business and said, okay, let's bring that person to this, which was very good, to this transformation unit.
Right.
But this will not work because you take someone which has so much pattern, so much success in the core, will not be able to be completely fresh for the new. Mm. So we put someone, young people.
Right. How young we're talking?
30, but...
Right. Early 30s?
Yes, early 30s, but they were in the hierarchy, they were not creating anything themselves, they high potential, and now they express themselves, they're very excited and they move, and the internet leader gave them delegation, and I found they are creative. Wow. So the structure is important also. Mm. So that's a big learning. It's not...
and how long has this been running? When did you start the transformation unit?
It's now nearly 7 months.
Wow, and that's amazing. A product every month. That's unbelievable.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Which I think, when I saw that ad, I was at home, we get the Nikkei, open it up, and there's your ad. And I thought, wow, Jerome is an absolute genius. Look at this. And I wrote to you and I said, I think you're a genius. Talk about where that idea came from, because that was, and talk about the free inverted commas, advertising that ad generated beyond just the readership of the Nikkei newspaper. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that idea came about? Because I thought that was so innovative.
Yes, so the market of Valentine was becoming mature and changing also, with more and more gifts along for myself, for friends, what they call Tomo Choco, also for your special one, which is Ronme Choco, and the Godiva Choco was, the
obligation chocolate.
And we had some surveys that shows that people were, some women feel embarrassed and pushed by that, and it was not really well accepted in the society. So. Having said that, we brainstorm and we had this idea, and to make it quite bold, yes, because a chocolate company would say, let's stop.
Let's stop selling chocolate as obligation chocolates for your boss.
Yes,
all you lady workers out there, stop giving your boss chocolates.
Yes. So
now, did that idea come from you, or is this a group? Is this coming? You didn't have a transformation unit at that time, so you're working with your existing group of people. So where is that radical idea coming from?
So, of course, in this kind of campaign, you also have the team, and you have also an agency. Which have some creative people. So the company has to give, let's say, the brief,
the direction to the
scope, and said, okay, I want to be to make something different. I want to be provocative, or I want to rock the boat. This is the trend we see. Let's think of your options, and then the team and the agency come with a few options. But the most difficult part is, when you have a campaign like this, is to decide if you launch it or not.
Yes.
Yes.
The agency can help you with the ideas, and the concept is good, but that's a pretty big move to say, don't buy chocolates for your boss.
Yes.
That's
that was our catchphrase, but there was also a thinking behind, which is, but the people remember only the catchphrase, which is maybe always that in advertising. You give a lot of message, but they just remember the few words. We were explaining the gifting is important. You have to put your heart into it. And if you want to do this at your company, it's perfectly fine. But only if you like it, not because you should.
Not because feel obligated.
Yes. So that was the real message, was not let's stop to give chocolate to your boss. Let's stop to enjoy in the companies during Godiva Choco. That was not the message.
It's to be authentic, wasn't it? Let's all be authentic about gift giving.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And let's not make it automatic, or let's say, oh, Greg, this is Valentine, I give you a chocolate, and I even don't look at you. Or at 5:50, I put it on your desk, and you don't even... So there is no personal connection. So that was the message.
Right.
And as we were in an advertising world, we had this claim, which was very impactful, which is in Japan, let's stop Godiva Choco. And we decided to go with it.
Did you have to run this by headquarters at all? Or?
Sometimes when you have an headquarter, you have different level of people, and you have different level of explanation. So on that one, I decided to inform someone, but not make a full presentation, and present it like a good, interesting angle to go, especially in a market which is mature. And we will do that, by the way. So, and the person, okay, why not? So I protect myself
internally
by this, but I didn't make a big pro and cons and big things.
By the way, we're going to create an outrage. We're going to have lots of Japanese Godiva Choco competitors complaining about us, and it's going to be a huge furor in the media.
So I didn't go into that at all, but myself, as an internal dialogue, I was hesitating until the last moment.
Oh, really? Yourself? You were thinking this is all on red again?
Yes. Does it make sense? Should we do it? Why we do it? And so on. And we do it. It worked very well. And as you said, the buzz on the TV, I would estimate it's maybe $20 million, because it was in all morning show.
Yes.
All morning show during 10 days. And then the TV start to make polls in the street. And are you against, or are you...
Really? How great is that?
Are you...
for it or against it?
Yes.
And plus the social media buzz as well is enormous range. $20 million. I mean, double page, what is it? Color, Nikkei, what's that? Is that 6 million yen? What is it? How much is that?
Yes, at that time maybe a little higher, because now it's going down because of the newspaper are struggling. But yes, it was maybe 7-8 million yen, means $70,000.
$80,000, right? For a $20 million return, pretty good.
Yes.
Pretty good investment.
Yes, and even it went worldwide, because it was in all Southeast Asia, and so that was quite something. Yes.
So again, the team's looking at you like, wow, Wonder Boy, he does it again, So
and on that one, interestingly, some women, which I don't work directly with them, that's not my direct report, came to see me and say, "Oh, Jerome, thank you. that's great. That's a great message. We are very happy. We are very proud to work at Godiva because, sometimes we are forced by our boss and you give that. And for us, that makes something. So the women here were not thinking of the business impact, but even the meaning of it and what Godiva stands for. This has a very good impact for our female employee, and which we have 90% of our staff is female. So.
Right, so that's a massive boost. Speaking in public means our personal and professional brands are on show. Let's make it a total success. Japan Presentations Mastery is the Bible for presenting in Japan. This is the most comprehensive collection of experience and insight on presenting that you will ever need. Don't work it out by trial and error. Buy Japan Presentations Mastery and learn how to be confident, clear and persuasive. Buy Japan Presentations Mastery now. In terms of what have you found works well in building trust with your teams? How do you get trust from the team?
First of all, I think it's the same thing as other culture, but here the Japanese are very quick at sensing someone. They have really, they see the person, the clothes, the face, the attitude, the non-spoken, and they can see immediately if you respect them or if you look down to them, and quite quickly and quite accurately, I would say, because when I sometimes ask them, what do you think of such and such in the headquarters, which they meet only for budget review, they give me some analysis which quite spot on. So we have to be, first impression, first 3 months are critical. Mm-hmm. And me, how I do it is, I would say it's simple. You respect people, you respect where they come from, the knowledge they have of the business, and you try to learn. You ask a lot of questions, and you go with them to see customers, and you work hard because they can see quickly if you really work or you just give direction, And and then another thing that gain huge respect is that when the team come to see you and said, okay, I would like to go to a direction, for example, and you have a meeting with your headquarters, and they are in the background or in the meetings, and they see that you really defend or propose the A solution, and there is pushback from the headquarters, and suddenly you say, no, I want B, then your trust. Okay, they say, okay, the guy just thinking of his career. Right. And then you lost it. But if they say that, he agree internally that A is good, and he fight for A, then you get huge amount of respect, yes.
And how about culture, building a culture? Like I imagine, Godiva has been around in Japan quite a long time before you got here. There must have been an existing culture. Do you just stick with that culture? Do you try and redirect that culture? Do you try and rebuild the culture or change the culture? What was your thinking about culture inside the organization?
Yeah, so this is linked to the timing. And you find out that, and I think everybody in every company, people will find this, is that the market is, in many categories of product is mature. So you have, because the population is not growing, the economy is slightly, sometimes improving, sometimes not. So you need to be super creative, innovative in product, in services to create new demand. And sometimes you find out that the culture you have is too classic. Or too traditional. And then you create a new framework, and sometimes you find out that it doesn't move a needle.
Right.
And so then you deep dive, and you find out, in fact, that there are some opaque, some blockers in certain part of the organizations.
Right.
Could be back office.
Right.
For example, why you want to do such a product with a 5 or 10% margin that are usual KPI? And people here like harmony, so they don't want to be in bad mood with finance. But as a corporate, if you didn't put that the new gross margin could be 10% lower, nothing will happen, because internally the marketing may have great idea, but it will be killed by finance, and that's not work. So you have to identify the blockers, which can be either process blocker, and you have also people blocker.
Right.
People who said, oh, the management said that, but this would never work.
Right.
Because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And these people usually have staff under them. And of course, they don't voice it openly.
Right.
And they are blockers. So you need a very good ear and eyes, because as a CEO, you cannot know everything.
Right.
To see, oh, you know that, you have this department, process blockers.
And what do you do about that? Okay, it's one thing to identify them. It's nothing to do something about it. Like I found in Japan that I don't understand. I don't understand is actually a code word in many cases for I perfectly understand, but I don't agree.
Yes.
But I'm not going to tell you I don't agree directly. I'll just say I don't understand. So, okay, you find that out. Oh, okay, I understand I don't understand is code word for I don't agree. But still, what do you do about it? So what do you do with those blockers? How do you get around that?
So for us, we did a massive work on what is called mission, vision, and values. And we say now this is the values that we believe in. And there are 5 values. One is happiness. One is quality, because we do quality things. One is pioneer, which was quite new for us, for a lot of Japanese to do something new that did not exist before. And one is growth. And growth as a value for yourself, the individual, but for the company. And you may be surprised to hear that, but I had in the company a lot of people very proud of the premium image of Godiva.
Yep.
More attached to that than the growth of the business.
Right.
That was the hidden blocker cultural.
Right.
People said, I want to be sold in Mitsukoshi Nihonbashi. I don't care if we sell...
If we lose money, as long as we're there.
Yes, and if we sell more by being in a shopping mall, or I want us to be premium.
Because my self-importance or my own ego is attached to the image.
Yes.
And my family respects me because I'm in this luxury, high-level brand rather than being seen in the conveni.
So, and they never voiced that openly.
No.
And you find out, that's why when we have this value of growth, as a company value, it's, if someone said a project does not bring growth, it doesn't work. So it's open, it's crystal transparent. And then you have certain blockers, and you find out that these blockers, they are on a pattern. Because if you're emotionally attached, as you want only to be in department store, for example, you don't want to be in convenience store. You don't want to be in shopping mall.
No.
And these people, no matter what, they block. But then you have, we make them a coaching on the values. We find them 2 or 3 times that they did not follow, or they're always in the meeting on the negative side without proposing a counter proposal. And people finally do not dare to speak because they know that so-and-so will kill them, and so-and-so has maybe 10 years of experience in the company, so they are very respected. And then after that, you have to make the tough choice.
Right.
But if you have a framework with clear vision, values, and you find out people which are off of that, then you have a frank conversation, they continue, then you move on. That's how we do it. So it's not. So we try to be transparent, direct, but with a framework, and it's a lot of work. It's not. You don't do it in one day. You need a full support from the HR. As a CEO alone, you cannot do it. But it's a lot of. It pay off. It pay off.
If you're going to give some advice to someone who is being sent to Japan to run an organization here, what would be some hints you'd give them on how to be successful when they get here?
I think first, the first 3 months when you arrive here are critical, because that's where you get your first impressions, and that's where you will see how people perceive you or follow you or not. So I would say, first of all, try to learn the business the quickest you can and go and visit customer with your team. Whatever business you are in, B2C or B2B, go with them. This will give, even if you don't speak a language, you take a translator, it's fine. This will give a message, oh, the CEO care about my job and our business. That's point one. Point two is ask a lot of questions during these first 3 months to get your view, your opinion on the business. And number three is to show that you can also decide and say yes or no, because they want the leader to decide and make the business moving. Because you have many leaders where they don't decide, and then the business gets slow, and then so I would say these 3 points. I mean, the definition is always giving a positive way to go or future to the organization and the people. So you want to go to see a leader which give you hope or give you way to go. So that's where you always have to be optimistic, resourceful, positive about the business or the situation you are in. So that people look to you for a potential solution or potential way to go. That's what I would say.
And should the new leader, when they come here, should they learn Japanese?
I mean, there is no fixed rule. I mean, if you're here for 5 years, you have time to put that. But if you can learn a little, that's open your mind and make you closer to the country, I would suggest that's a good, and it will make your job more interested, because you will catch up some words, you will try to do. So yes, you will not expect to speak fluently, but the attitude to learn a little of Japanese, I think it's a good sign. People will really like it. Here, for example, I have some foreigners, some speak perfectly Japanese, some don't, but they learn a little, and that shows interest for the culture, and a few words here and there is always good. Yes.
And what about, you wrote your book in Japanese first, you wrote the book Target in Japanese first, and then you had the English translation done, I guess, or you wrote it in English. I'm not exactly sure how you did it, but what was your thinking there? Why did you decide, you've been studying kyudo now for 30 years, to have that concept of I can relate the things I'm doing in kyudo conceptually to business and hitting targets? How did that come about?
So when I started kyudo, what interested me is that they say that you should do your best mentally and physically and not be focused on the target. And when you do the correct form, mentally and physically, the target will be hit naturally as an outcome. And me, and I'm sure most of you, the CEO you interview, we are all achiever, obsessed by the target.
Yep. Strange that, isn't it?
And myself, I find this stressful, to be honest. Right. You have a target, an objective you want to achieve. And here they were saying, don't worry about the target. In kyudo, they said, don't aim. Just look, do your best, and if your form is correct, you will eat. Just focus on doing your proper form. And that was very encouraging, because you said you can just focus on the right form and then you will hit your goal. And then when I was, for the first time, managing a P&L, the Lladro Japan, I had the budget on my shoulder. I have to hit the budget, because as a CEO, if you don't hit your target budget, you are in trouble. But then I remember, Jerome, on weekend, you shoot day in, day out at a paper target, and on weekdays you have to think of your budget, sales and profit every day. But remember, in kyudo, the teacher teach you proper energy, proper mental, and the proper form, and you will hit. And it's true, I experience myself. When I'm in the shooting area, just thinking of the target, my body move, my mind move, and the shoot is a disaster. When I just think, okay, just do what I learn, do it this, and you will hit. Oh, I do the best shoot, and I hit. Not planning to it. It happens. Then I thought in business, rather than waking up and said, oh, how is my sales? Let's look at the number, calling my team. Why your number is -5? Can it be +10? I just think of the consumer.
Yep.
Let's think of the best product. And Jerome, don't worry, relax. Think of the good product, good campaign, the customer, and you will get your number. So this helped me to make a shift in my paradigm, so to speak. So as we say in kyudo, right shooting always results in a hit.
Right.
So I was started to think, what is right management? And in my office, I have this 4 ideogram, Seisha Hichu. Right shooting always result in a hit, meaning you do focus only, your duty is the right shooting and you will hit. So that's because, it's a pretty clear metaphor, right? The target, it's what you desire, you want to obtain.
Yep.
And before that, it's what you do, how to do it. And the how to do it is the key.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your book, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. It was such a fresh take on thinking about business too. I love that. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
As always,
Yes.
we have occasions we get together for lunch, not for a long time, we should do one, and catch up. It's always pleasurable to talk to you and find out what you're doing. So join us again for the next episode of Japan's top business interviews.